Hello and welcome or welcome back to International Yankee English. We are a global online English learning community active on several different platforms. If you'd like to learn more about how you can become a part of our community, check the description box below. Today we will be covering a very important topic, one that I have noticed my students over the years have struggled with a lot. It is also one that many students of mine have asked if I could help them with. So today we are going to look at how you can stop translating in your head and start thinking in English. If that sounds good to you, keep watching. Before we begin today, I would like to give a shout out to our comment winner from last week's Motivation Monday video. Every week when we have our Motivation Monday videos, I will leave a pinned comment in the comment section with a question or a challenge for you guys. And last week, as we covered the 5 women writers in honor of International Women's Day, which is the day that it currently is as this video goes live. So if you haven't watched last week's, go back and honor those women writers by watching that video. And the challenge for last week was to name the 5 vocabulary words and writers. And Speaking Grace TV, it was the winner of that challenge. Congratulations. If you guys have time, please go check out their channel. It is really interesting. It is a Christian faith-based lifestyle channel. And I think that if you're interested in that topic, you would really like their videos. Okay, now let's get down to business. The first thing that I want to talk about in order to stop translating and start thinking in English is to simply start doing it. I know if it was that easy, you could just tell yourself to do it and stop watching this video. But there are some tools in order to start doing it. You want to start small and simple. So my first tip is to choose 3 parts of your day that aren't too close together. For example, when you first wake up in the morning, when you are taking a lunch break at work, perhaps when you are going home from work, or lunch break at school, or going home from school. That is just an example. You can change it up and choose different times of day as well. But let's say when you wake up in the morning in this example, you wake up and you choose 5 things in your room that you are going to repeat 5 times. So let's say you wake up in the morning and your alarm clock is going off. Most people these days, or many people, use their cell phone as an alarm. So maybe you take your cell phone to turn your alarm off and you say to yourself in your head or out loud if you want, in English 5 times in a row, cell phone, cell phone, cell phone, cell phone, cell phone. And then you stop your alarm and maybe you say alarm, 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 alarm. As simple as that. You start small with easy words that are just there in your mind at that moment. Now let's say you get out of bed and you start walking towards the door. You can say door, 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 door. And then you go to your bathroom and maybe you want to wash your face to wake yourself up a little bit more. You can say sink, 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 sink. And then you dry your face off with a towel and you repeat the same with the word towel. Okay? So that is just one super easy baby step entry to getting at least the first part of your day, getting yourself to repeat these certain English words so that your brain starts to associate those everyday items with English words. And then you can do the same thing around lunchtime as you are packing your lunch or making your lunch or going out to get your lunch, as well as when you're driving home, maybe with street signs, or in the train as you're trying to find your platform, etc. Now, advanced learners may say that's way too easy for me. How is that going to help? Number 1, yes, these may be easy words, but it's not about, you're not going to start trying to get yourself thinking in Shakespearean language, right? You want to start with basic everyday language and get yourself to think about that there. Now, if you live in a country and you are immersed in the language, eventually you will just start to think in it because you have that immersion and you don't really need to actively think about it. But that normally takes years. So not only do you probably want to cut off some of that time and start thinking in English earlier, but you also may not have that opportunity to be immersed in the language. So it is your job to start immersing yourself and really applying the everyday things that you come in contact with and make your brain think about those in English. Now, if that does still feel too simple for you, or you've already started doing this and you've been doing it for a while and you feel it's time to step it up, what you can do instead of just repeating 5 words 5 times is you can kind of talk yourself through what you were doing. So instead of just repeating the words, let's say now your alarm clock goes off and you turn it off, then you can either in your head or out loud, you can say, I am turning off my alarm. It is time for me to wake up. I am getting out of bed now. I am walking toward the door. I am going into the bathroom to wash my face. I am now washing my face. I need to dry it off with a towel. I am pat drying my face with the towel. I am putting the towel away, and now I am going to the kitchen to make myself some breakfast. And then that's it. Don't try to push it. Don't try to speak your whole day in your head in English at the start. That may be something you can do after a few weeks even, but you have to start small at small intervals throughout the day and try to build yourself up to that point. And I know this sounds maybe like it's not going to be effective, but if you start small and continuously build up, I promise you that within a couple of months, you will be able to easily process your thoughts in English because you have trained your brain to do so. So that is my main number 1 tip that we will talk about today. Now moving on to number 2. Okay, tip number 2 is about when you are using English, whether it's that you're studying for a class, or if you're trying to write an email for work, or if you're trying to do as something practical, such as book an appointment with somebody and you need to use English. Instead of setting out to do that with a dictionary that is with 2 languages, from your L1 to your L2 and L2 to L1, just use a monolingual dictionary. So that is a dictionary that explains the words either for native speakers, where it explains the word in other English words, or sometimes you have monolingual English to English dictionaries that are meant for ESL learners, so they may purposely use easy words to describe the harder word in the dictionary for you. So when you are trying to learn, whether you are reading or studying or doing something for work, do not use a bilingual dictionary with 2 languages, use a monolingual one. My next tip is that when you are watching TV and it's a series in English and you normally would use subtitles for your own language, make sure to put the subtitles in English instead. And or when you are watching TV in your native language, turn the subtitles on in English so you start to read more. When you read the subtitles along with a listen to the words, that helps activate different parts of your brain, and that'll make it easier for you to start thinking in English as a result. Okay, my third and final tip of the day, I want to keep this short and easy for you to implement in your day-to-day life, is to journal in English. Now, I know that not that many adults journal and write down what is going on in their day every day, but I definitely recommend doing this every night or every morning, or at a time where it's not too busy for you during the day. Set a routine where you write for at least 10 or 15 minutes, just free write. Don't set any kind of structure or boundaries for yourself. Just free write in English and English only, and if you don't know a word, just either move on to a different sentence or change the way you are structuring your sentence, but do not go to a bilingual dictionary and look it up in your language. Simply write, even if it's the most basic things, just what you did that day, how you were feeling, what you would still like to achieve that day, what you would like to do next week, how your conversation with your friend went, how your mom is doing, how your dog is doing, what are the things left to do on your to-do list. whatever it is, anything and everything, just free write for 10 or 15 minutes every single day in your journal in English and English only. And I promise you that when you connect your regular day-to-day life or your deepest, most personal thoughts to the language that you want to become fluent in, that will help connect and create those original thoughts in English instead of sticking to the translation theory. And I just want to add one last thing. It's not really a tip because I think anyone who watches my videos knows this. Read in English. Read absolutely everything, especially the things that you really enjoy to read. Try to do that in English. And I know that may sound like, oh, that's work. I want to read my favorite fiction story or guilty pleasure magazine in my own language because that's my me time. But I promise if you're reading about something you enjoy in the language that you want to become fluent in, that's going to help connect and create those original thoughts and that emotional attachment to the language a lot easier than if you're only doing study material and grammar books and reading news articles about topics you may not be interested in, etc. So make sure you're always reading in English, you're always writing in English, you're always speaking and thinking those thoughts about your day-to-day life and vocabulary in English, and of course listening to English, whether that be podcasts, audiobooks, you go in a Clubhouse room, you watch a TED Talk, listen to the radio, watch TV. Make sure that you have all of those 4 things happening every single day. You're speaking, you're writing, you're listening, and you're reading in English every single day, and that will help to create a pattern in your brain and just avoid the bilingual dictionaries at all costs. Of course, as a beginner, this is much more difficult. I would recommend, if you are a beginner and you're watching this, or lower intermediate, that you do go to the bilingual dictionaries when you need it, but try to take a class that is in English only. Do not take a class that is taught by a native speaker of your own language that will go back and forth between your native language. Even from day one, when you don't know a single word in a language, it is best to be taught that language only in that language and not to go back to your native or any other language as you're trying to acquire the new language. So that is all that I have for you guys today. I hope this has been helpful, and I would love to hear in the comments below, once you've done this for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, how it's going. Please come back and let me know how it is. And if you would like to continue learning with us, we have weekly conversation practice sessions on Zoom and monthly conversation classes that are more structured, and weekly Clubhouse talks. And we have so many different learning opportunities for you guys. So please check out the links in the description box, and I will see you next week here for Motivation Monday. Bye, guys.